Hi, this article summary is on a recent article from Supply Chain 24/7 titled Scope 3 is now a supply chain problem, not just sustainability. The article explains how Scope 3 emissions, once viewed mainly as a sustainability or ESG issue, are increasingly becoming a core supply chain management responsibility due to rising regulatory requirements and stakeholder expectations. Scope 3 emissions include greenhouse gases produced across a company's entire value chain, such as supplier operations, transportation, product use, and end of life disposal. The article notes that for most companies, Scope 3 emissions represent the largest portion of their total carbon footprint, often exceeding direct emissions from owned facilities or purchased energy. New regulations and disclosure requirements, particularly in the US and Europe, are forcing companies to collect, verify, and report emissions data from suppliers. Because this data spans multiple tiers of supply chain, responsibility is shifting away from sustainability teams alone and toward procurement, logistics, and supply chain leadership. Several challenges are discussed, including poor data visibility across supplier networks, inconsistent reporting standards, and the lack of integration between sustainability goals and supply chain strategy. Many companies still treat Scope 3 as a compliance exercise rather than a strategic initiative, which limits its effectiveness. To manage Scope 3 emissions effectively, companies need stronger supplier relationships, improved data systems, and better alignment between supply chain operations and long term business strategy. This reinforces the concept that supply chain decisions are not operational afterthoughts, but are central to achieving competitive advantage. Based on the strategy concepts we've studied, Scope 3 reporting should be viewed as part of a company's long range business strategy, not just an environmental requirement. Companies that integrate Scope 3 into sourcing, network design, and supplier strategy can reduce risk, improve efficiency, and strengthen brand value. In that sense, sustainability becomes a strategic lever rather than a constraint. The article makes it clear that Scope 3 emissions management is no longer optional and is becoming a strategic supply chain capability tied to risk management, operational efficiency, and long term competitive positioning. Thank you.